There we go. We got audio. All right, we are streaming. Cool. All right, so we're going to start some of the startup stuff. I was going to start doing this and I realized that it's just not working out of the box, so I was going to just go through the video on what we're supposed to do to set up the first time setup for the V01. Let's see here, get my documentation up. Alright, so we've got main sail up and running now. So what we have to do is start our end stop check, because I'm pretty sure my end stops are not working in the right direction right now. So we're gonna start that. I'm not gonna put all the panels and everything on until mechanically this thing is sound, and then I'm gonna put all the rest of it, I'm gonna assemble the rest. So I'm kind of doing a little out of order from the manual, but that's okay. So we've got the end stop check. So this is on the Voron startup build manual here. Go away. So I'm going to keep this on the other screen here. So I'll be typing over here onto the console, and we can see what happens in real time. So query and stops. Okay, all three are open. That's good. So let's see what happens when we close the first one. All right, X is triggered. That's good. So the X is triggered correctly. X shows triggered right now. Zoom out a little bit, 1 second. Okay, so right over here, X is triggered now. All right, so let's go all the way back. And then let's check over here again. Query end stops. Y is triggered. So X and Y are good. Hooray. Now let's test the Z end stop. Oh, it's locked. M80 for it. Triggered. Z is triggered. So all three of our end stops are working correctly and triggering correctly. So the next step and they're also all showing open or triggered. They're not inverted incorrectly, so that's good. So now we need to be able to verify that our stepper motors are configured in the correct direction. I'm pretty sure they are not currently. So how do we test that? We're going to So we're going to do a G28X and be ready to stop this thing at any moment. I'll put this in the middle. Shutting this status of these one more time here. My end stops are open, open, open. You can see the printer is like so right now. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna use the front panel here. I got this button pre-assigned to it, so I just push this and it'll abort what I'm gonna do. So I could also use the emergency stop on the upper right corner of Kliiper. So we're going to G28X, and I'm pretty sure this is going to try to go forward right now instead of backwards. So that's the Y. So I'm pretty sure this thing is going to be wrong, but let's see what happens. It should move to the right when I start this. Okay, so Y is good. Perfect. Next, let's do. I'm gonna try it again because the instructions say the tool head should move up slightly and then move to the right. And it's going down. So that tells me the Z axis is wrong because it should be going up, not down. I think that one's wrong, but we'll see here in a second. So let's try our Y now. So what should happen now, and this one is where I got burned up before, it's supposed to go back, and I think it's going to come forward, so we're going to have to stop it. Yep, totally did. Came forward. As soon as it did that, I stopped it. So I'm going to click on Restart Firmware in Kliiper. All right, so we are good. So now we have to find out how do we invert the Y stepper. So if either axis does not move in the expected or correct direction, refer to the table direction here. Invert the direction pin by adding an exclamation to the pin name. All right, so we got to go to the pin name. So I'm going to open up the printer config, and I need to get the Y. So we're going to go to stepper Y. And enable pin this is where I'm confused because this says add an exclamation before dir pin, so we're going to change that here. So I'll put an exclamation, and then we'll save and restart. Now we should be able to do the, now when I click on the home Y, it should go backwards, trigger. So we're going to do X first, since we already know that one works. It says end stop still triggered after retract. Let's try this again. So I hit X and then Y goes forward. I thought I hit X. Maybe I hit Y? Let's try this again here. Maybe I clicked on the wrong one. Did I change the wrong one? Alright, let's do our G28 X, and this should move the toolhead to the right. Should, unless I flipped the wrong bit just now. So Y is X, moving the toolhead forward. Do I have an A? Oh, I have to invert them both. That's what it is. That should, no. Let's look at the docs here. See, what I don't like about the manual here is this is saying stepper A and stepper B. It's not giving you X and Y like the configuration file doesn't say A and B. The configuration file says X and Y. So I had switched X just now incorrectly. I needed to change Y. So that was that. That was my bad. I did the wrong one. I should have done Y there because I was trying to fix Y. So Y shows that it's inverted. So now neither one of them is inverted. Let's try to save and restart. All right, G28X. Printhead should move to the right. Okay, worked. Now if we do Y, printhead should move backwards. It went forward. So let's see. Let's look at this manual here. So B and A and Z. Okay, so what did the directions do? So it should be going backwards. So it went to the right successfully. And it's coming forward on X. So steppers are swapped the A and B connectors. So apparently I have these backwards. So let's swap those and see what happens. Saying I've got my A and B steppers swapped. And so I'm pretty sure that's these top two. So maybe I did. I thought I did that right last night, but oh, this is gonna be a nightmare. Let's try it again. Unfortunately, this thing takes like 2 minutes to start up with the Pi Zero, so we get to wait a hot minute here. Don't want to scratch that. Now we wait for our display to show something. Good time to tidy up a little bit. looks like an 8. Yep. This looks like 10. Nope, this is 12. I think I took this out of my bin. Yeah. Alright, so display just came on. So that usually indicates that everything is up and running. So I'll go back to main sale. Try again. Alright, so we are in a ready state. So let's try this now. So we're going to do M28X, which should, according to the instructions, sorry, G28, M28. G28X should move our stuff to the right. So let's see if that does that. I have a feeling things are inverted. Alright, X1 to the right, G28Y. Haha! Success! Alright. Now, let's see when we do our Z what we're supposed to do here. I think the Z, maybe the Z is not inverted. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Be ready to turn it off if it does. It's going the right way. I love how quiet this thing is. This is really nice. All right, so we can officially home all. Ta-da! Alright, so we've done that. So the motor configuration is good. So bed locating. So we have to define 0, 0 on this one here. The homing position is not a typical 0, 0 of the maximal travel. The numbers vary by printer. So this says what we do is we move the nozzle using the software to the front left corner of the bed. That's going to help us define what we need to do here. So let's do that first. So this should be 124. Let's see, where is it here? Can't go that way. Something hit something. And plus this way. Nope. So now we gotta go. That is, I mean, that's pretty freaking close. I could probably go one more. So that, the carriage is about to hit the plastic here. There's a tiny bit of gap there. So let's go this other way down. That's about it right there. It's close enough at least. So So we've done that. So the printer thinks it is at 6, 0, and 5. So the X could go more to the left, but that's really, I mean, that's not going to be on the print surface. So I'm going to call this one here where it's going to start. Send an M114 to retrieve the current location. So yep, so it's 605. If X and Y offsets are within 5 millimeters or 0, 0 is past the max, understand what this thing is trying to get me to do here. They are within 5 millimeters, which, yes, I mean, technically this thing could go to the right a little bit further. I mean, it could probably go to 4. Update position max and position end stop. So that's going to be modifying the printer config. So we're going to do update position max and position end stop for both X and Y. So for X, it's going to be the current minus get position X. So the current minus get position X and 114. I don't understand that. I don't know if I need to worry about it either, because let's see if it'll let me. It shouldn't let me go any farther forward right now. On the Y, it should say maximum already. Out of range, yep. And the X, I mean, yeah, the X is. Now that's literally the max. I can't go any farther, so I need to update. I need to update the X. So I'll put the X at 5. So this says X will be the current position, which is 6 minus get M114. I don't know, this doesn't make any sense. M114 says we are at 5. Look at the printer config. We're going to want to do. So this is 120. So the current value minus, okay, so we're going to put 15. For the end stop and the max. So update position max and position end stop. Position, max, position. So I'm going to just minus 5 millimeters of those, and then we'll see if that does it. Something didn't like that. Move out of range. 120, 125. So what did I do wrong? Technically the build space is actually smaller now, but all right, so all of that is, I'll just make sure I don't go all the way to the right. I'm never going to print anything all the way to the right like that, so I think I'm fine. So the Z end stop. Ideally, the activation of that switch will be at the exact bed height at which your nozzle also reaches the bed surface. Ideally, that's a interesting phrase though. So let's center this thing here. So we'll go to 75. Actually 60. And then 60 over here. It's actually a little too far to the right. I don't know, front and back, but it's fine. So now we're at the Z is negative, is at positive 5. So if we go up, so if you go up 5, we're saying the bed should come in contact with it. So I have two options. I crank the screws down a little bit here so I can bed level it. I bet you somebody's got a script to help with figuring this stuff out as well, but I always manually did it anyways. So I should, to raise the bed up, to make it go up a little bit higher, I need to loosen the screws, or I need to modify the Z offset. Because right now this is about to trigger the Z. I shouldn't be able to go negative anymore on the Z. Oh, I did. And it de-triggered, so that's exactly where it's at. So what we can do now is I'm going to release all the motors. I'm going to manually unscrew this to let it come up. I'm going to do this for all 3 springs here. It's just about touching. Boy, I think I need to get an LED right on that thing somehow. Alright, so now we get a little piece of paper. Where's my little gauge? Here it is, feeler gauge. So right now there's no friction at all. I'm not even showing what I'm doing. I'm sorry. So what I did is I'm basically manually moving the tool head to each of the 3 locations. And I'm just going to use this piece of paper here. And I'm going to loosen it until I feel a tiny bit of friction. Or it can just kind of like, it's where it slides, but you can hear like this just like a slight grind. And then I'm going to back it off a little bit. And do the same thing again here. So this already has a slight grind to it. Back over to this one. I think this one's too much. See, now this corner is a little bit higher than that back corner there. So if I increase the back, it's going to bring, if I raise the back, it's going to bring this corner down. So to raise it, I loosen it a little tiny bit. And that's not doing it yet. So we're going to have to also make some changes to this one here. So we loosen this one a little bit. And loosen this one a little. To bring, so this one to come up, we're going to have to increase this one so that the back left has got to go down to the back right. The back left has to go down to bring the back right up. So we have to tighten it a little bit. So this is the art of this. Is like it's constantly going back and forth, back and forth. See, now this one's way too tight. Tighten it up. That one's good. Let's see what is in the middle. The middle is it's okay. It's like a little bit less than ideal. Feels very consistent through that there. This one here gets a little bit, so I'm going to tighten this one ever so slightly. And try not to grab the tool head when you're pushing it forward and backwards. You're going to want to grab the chassis, the tool head, because it'll shift a millimeter while you're doing this. So this is pretty good. Unfortunately, with the, you kind of have to for the left and right. There's not really a good way of grabbing it, so just try to get as close to the frame as possible. So like this one here is not, there's no friction at all in this one right now, this corner. So just a tiny, like a little bit of unscrew on this one here, and now I'm getting a little bit of friction that I want. But there's more friction on this side. So we'll tighten this one up. Oh yeah. This one's going to go up. So we're going to loosen this one and tighten this one. It's not doing what I want it. Oh, the joys. So that one's good. That one's good. So right now we reverse. So the back right corner is now too low, and the other three are good. We'll raise it up a little bit. And it's not making a difference. Try the 3 points again. So that's good. And that one is not good. That's good. Let's see what the middle is. So I think this is just going to be possibly, I mean, I made sure to put that magnet on really well, but this could easily be just magnet. The magnet itself has got just slight imperfections on it. So, but I've got it close enough to where I can probably do a slight elephant's foot on the slicer and then probably take care of it. But also, I'm gonna have to do this again when it gets hot, because right now it's perfect as it is with a feeler gauge. But when this thing heats up, it's gonna expand. Thermal expansion will kick in. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn all of these like a tiny bit to try to make up for that thermal expansion. So that feels pretty good all the way around. I love this thing. It's like quiet. It's great. All right. So I'm going to stop here. What I'm going to have to do next is do PID tuning. So the printer will have a a range of, so it'll understand how much to heat the bed to keep it maintain a temperature. But since I'm going to be using this for a lot of ABS, maybe a little PLA, I don't know. I'm probably going to be primarily using ABS. I want it to be more precise. So what I'm going to do is PID tune it. I'm going to put the frame back. I'm going to finish the build. I'm going to put the skirts on, get the top hat built, and once that's all done, then I will do the PID tuning and start that. So the next video is probably going to be more just assembly, and then we'll do a wrap up and then probably a first print before too long after that. So, all right, signing off for now.